Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Minerva and today we are going to be doing a tutorial on a virgin hair application. So we are going to start first by following our textbook, which is the Milady's textbook found on page 718 to 719. And we are going to begin with our 4-quadrant subsection found on our book. We're going to apply the protective cream, also found in our book. We're going to apply the hair color where it's most resistant. And we're going to start with applying about 1/4 of an inch subsections horizontal as we apply our color. We're going to apply about 1/2 inch away from the scalp and about 1 inch away from her ends. And we are then going to go back and apply the color on the roots. Again, starting where it's more resistant. And then we're going to work the color all the way through and all the way down to her ends. What that's going to do, it's going to actually help process the color nice and even. And it's not going to give you hot roots, meaning the roots are going to be brighter than her ends. So this is just going to be a tutorial on how to achieve that. So now just remember we have 10 volume, 20 volume, and 30 volume, and so on, right? So 10 volume, it's only going to deposit the color, and it's going to give you less lift, right? 20 volume is going to lift the color 2 levels up. And it's also going to cover your grade coverage. And it's also used for mostly permanent colors, your 20 volume. And of course, then you move on to your 30 volume. 30 volume we are not using today, but just so you know, 30 volume will lift up to 3 levels. And for any other additional lift that you want to give somebody. So remember, volume/developer is the same thing. So it's going to equal as far as it measures the most concentration and strength of the hydrogen peroxide. So we are going to start with our 4 quadrants. If you are somebody that is in beauty school, this can be very helpful for you. If you are somebody that just came out of beauty school and you feel like you need to brush up on your virgin hair colors, this is the video for you as well. And if you're somebody that just maybe is thinking of going back to school or wants to start beauty school, or maybe you're just coloring your friend's hair for fun, this can be beneficial for you as well. All right, so let's begin and let's get started. I'm going to be using not real hair color, but as a mock, I'm going to be using the cholesterol, and I'm going to go through the motions and show you as we go. It might get kind of quiet in between, but I'll try to continue to talk about color throughout the process. Let's begin. All right. So I am going to start with the middle parting, and I'm going to do a profile part all the way down. Once I hit the profile, I'm going to do the radial. So you're going to go up to basically, I have my profile here. And you're going to go to the crown area, and you're going to subsection that part. And I would advise you, well, let's see where you can see a little bit better. Okay. And I would say that using clean subsection does matter. So make sure that if you're not very good at subsectioning your doll's hair, do a little bit of practice. What I like to call it, usually it's almost like when you're drawing on a piece of paper, right? When you draw on a piece of paper, you're making a line, you're not going to lift that pencil, right? You're going to concentrate and continue to follow that line. That's kind of the way I see it. It's the same thing when you're doing somebody's hair on the scalp, right? The moment you lift that comb, you're going to not give them a nice clean parting. it's going to end up being not a clean parting. So you want to make sure that you do a clean parting every time, because it does matter when you start doing your color. All right, so now that I have my 4 quadrants, right, I'm going to go in, roll up my sleeves, and I am going to put on my gloves. And when you do any sort of color, you always want to make sure you have some gloves on, because you do not want to look unprofessional. You don't want to look dirty. You don't want to see, you know, color everywhere like it's a murder scene. You want to keep it as clean as possible. So rule number 1 is always apply protective cream around their skin. And the reason for that is so that they don't walk out of the salon looking like a crazy person, color everywhere, splotches everywhere, because they're not going to come back to your chair if that's the case, right? So you want to make sure that you apply that protective cream, and we're going to apply it all around. And again, this is just a mock, so I'm just going to go very little up around, behind the ear, or on the ear. That's a very other common place where hair color gets on. And then around their neck, right? On a real customer, I would be putting a towel, a cape, and then a towel, right? Make sure they are all well covered. And if your salon or school provides like little smocks for them to put on and change their shirt, so you are a little bit more careful and you're not going to stain their shirt, that's a great idea. They can go in and change, put on a smock, and then of course you put on the towel, cape, towel. And this is going to keep them nice and snug, where no color is going to get on their clothes or on their undershirt, their neck, their hairline. So we want to make sure that they are all good. So now this is just the protective cream. Of course, this is just cholesterol, but let's pretend it's good protective cream. And we're going to apply it all around, right? All around. And if they have makeup on or heavy foundation, just let them know the process, right? Sometimes you have a customer that's like sitting down all scared of your chair. Explain to them what you're going to do, right? So this is Valerie. Valerie, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of protective cream. This is going to prevent some staining on your skin. So I'm just letting you know what the process is. Obviously, she's got virgin hair. Maybe she hasn't been to a salon for a long time. So I'm walking her through the process. And this is going to help my customer be a little bit more at ease. And that way I also gain her trust, right? So what we're going to do, I would say, let's start around, I'm going to start on this quadrant, move over to the left, and then I'm going to continue with the back, right? Again, our scenario is that she's got about 25% gray. So we're going to go with that. And now let's go ahead and begin. Let's see. And right now, I'm just going to go basic horizontal, do the same thing in the back. And then we'll continue maybe the same technique or a little bit different. So again, I'm going to start about half an inch away from the scalp. And the reason for that, a lot of times it's because the scalp carries more heat from our body heat. And we want to make sure that we are covering and taking thin subsections so that everything is saturated, right? And again, we're leaving about an inch away. or you can even do about 1/2 inch, right? It depends on your customer. And then I'm going to go in again and do about 1/4 inch. What that's going to do is going to provide that I actually saturate her hair nicely. And sometimes as a beginner, you can get flustered and you just want to get it all done at once, right? But we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we take our time, right? When you don't take your time, what happens is that you're in a hurry. Your customer then doesn't trust you anymore. She's looking at you like, does this girl even know what she's doing? So for that reason, we want to make sure that we're taking our thin subsections. I know sometimes some of you may think, oh, but that's just going to take a long time. But honestly, get it done, bring it down. Next subsection, another 1/4 inch, right? Get it done. 1/2 inch away from the scalp and then down. The more you do it, the more you think of it less, right? Grab your other subsection. I know as a newer person, I remember when I was starting, it's like, oh, that's going to take me forever. And you want to rush through it. That's the worst thing you can do. Rush, right? They know they're coming in for a color. They know it's going to take a while, right? And if they want it done correctly, it's going to take some time. But the more you do it, the easier things are going to get. 1/2 inch away from the scalp. Down. And don't think about it too much, Excuse me. Don't think about it too much. Bring it down. If you're truly taking that 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch subsection, it's going to be an easy flow if you're truly taking that 1/4 inch subsection. Because all you have to do is bring it down and it's saturated, right? And if you feel like, okay, maybe I need to go back a little more on it, then go ahead. But make sure that your hair color is fully saturated. That 1/4 inch is going to make it to where it's going to go through. And the more you do it, the better it's going to be as a new hairdresser, because this is actually going to help you not waste all that color, right? Especially if you are renting your own booth. You don't want to throw that color down to the garbage, because color costs money, especially if you're renting your own booth or you have your own salon one day. You don't want to throw all of that down. You want to make sure you adjust their chair. I obviously have a mannequin with me, so I have to adjust my tripod. All right. Yeah, so even if you don't feel confident when you're first out there in the salon, giving a good consultation is the key. Walking your customers through is the key as well, as they sit in your chair, becoming a little bit more comfortable. And again, if you have to add a little bit more, go ahead. If you see some of those dry spots, right? And you want to take that 1/4 inch subsection. half an inch away from the scalp. Bring it down. And the reason why we're not bringing it down all the way to the ends is because that's where most of the hair is over porous. And what that's going to do, it's going to cause the hair color to just grab very quickly. So we're gonna continue all the way down. And again, let me bring this tripod down a little bit more. All right. Oh, see how easy it is to lose your spot, right? So we got to be very careful. You want to make sure you grab every inch of the hair. Again, half an inch away from the scalp. And why we do that is because that's where the most heat is. By the time you're done doing quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, that should already be processing. I like to do the front first because that is the most important area that you're going to see in case anything goes wrong, or maybe the process, or maybe you were too slow and now the color isn't matching up correctly, right? Another tip would be that mix 1 ounce at a time depending on the density of the hair. Because if you mix way too much color, what's going to happen is the color is sitting there for over 30-20 minutes, and now it's not going to have enough strength to continue and process the rest of your quadrants. So if you're new, a tip that I would highly recommend is do 1 ounce at a time. It's going to give you better results at the end. Yes, it's going to take a little bit more time, but your customer is going to walk out happy. So now that we finished all of the 4 quadrants, right? This is a mock, so I'm not going to sit there for another, long time. We're going to go back. Now that everything is done, we're going to just focus on this quadrant. We are going to go back and do the roots. So now I'm like, okay, Miss Valerie here, that color is looking well processed now. Now it's been, let's just say 20 minutes, and now her color on the mid shaft, I'm loving it. It's lifting, it's doing everything I want it to. And again, she's got 25% gray. That gray is starting to cover up. Not a big deal. I like what I'm seeing. I like where we're going. So now we're going to go in and do her roots. You can continue doing that, or you can actually, another tip that you can do if she had more like 50% gray, I would say, let's touch up around the hairline. If she told me my gray is so stubborn, and I'm 50% gray, then I would go through and outline all around her hairline first, because it's stubborn gray. So we want to make sure that we give her good coverage. If you feel like maybe she may have 25% gray, but guess what? That gray is so stubborn, then it's not going to hurt to do it. Go around that hairline, right? Let's cover that up. The important areas, let's outline it, all quadrants, and around the hairline. So now she's all covered, and now it's going to give her a great processing time. All right, so I'm going to go in and apply. You're going to take your same quadrant and apply. You're going to go in and apply. And by taking 1/4 of an inch, you can see through, you can see my glove through the hair. By taking that, it's going to make it easier for you to go quicker, go faster, right? The reason why I say that, because now I don't have to lift and flip it back and forth. I'm just going in 1/2 inch. There. She is well saturated. Another 1/4 inch subsection horizontally. Press on that, right? I am taking true 1/4 inch subsection, and I know that that hair is saturating right through. And that's the beauty of it, you know? I mean, people think, oh, that's going to take forever. That's going to take a long time. But honestly, it's not. It's going to make your habits better. You're going to work cleaner. You're going to work smarter, not harder. And the more you do this, the more you're going to grow, the more you're going to learn, right? The more you're going to figure out, okay, I think I'm going to do this next time, or what can I do different next time, right? So because I am taking a 1/4 inch subsection, I'm touching up her roots, and it's all getting well saturated because I don't need to flip it back and forth. I know that it's hitting both sides. And guess what? Now she's well saturated, right? We have gone back on her roots, and she's got the protective cream all around her. And now all I need to do is go back and make sure that her ends are good. And this is the point where you can double check, okay, did I get everything? Yeah, that looks great to me. I'm just pulling that hair through. A little bit more, whatever it is I need. I'm just pulling it through. Just pulling it through. And you're just pulling it through. There you go. Bam. What I like to do, I like to make sure that that oxygen is going to go in and help do its process, right? Now, since we are doing some gray coverage, I'm going to let it sit there for a good 45 minutes because your gray coverage is usually about 45 minutes, right? If she had 50% gray coverage, still 45 minutes. 100%, still 45 minutes. And the more Valerie comes in, the more she's going to say, this is what worked last time. This is what didn't. This is what I liked last time. This is what didn't. And hopefully also you are filling out those cards with the information of your customer, some client cards. And that will help you add the formula on what you did previously. So if she comes back, Valerie, and says, I still saw some of that gray, then I know to maybe alter something, or maybe use a different color line, or I know it's 45 minutes. Maybe I really have to strongly start first at her hairline. So it just helps you keep track of what you did on your customer previously and correct it, and making sure that that customer is coming to you over and over and over again. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this was of some help, especially if you're a beauty school student or you are new to the industry, or maybe you just want to do somebody's color for fun, or a friend's color, trying something new, right? Or maybe again, you're thinking of going to beauty school. This is a great way to kind of get your feet wet, a great way for you to keep engaged and continue to learn. Remember, as a hairdresser, we never stop learning. So I hope you got something from this video, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.